Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Coming up in the next hour. Pakistan's newly formed parliament elects Shehbaz Sharif as the Prime Minister for a second time. Shehbaz beats PTI-backed candidate Omar Ayub comfortably. Israeli military review of Gaza aid convoy deaths finds that most were killed in Stampede, adding no strike was carried out towards the aid convoy. Former US President Donald Trump's dominance continues in Republican primaries. Wins in Michigan, Missouri and Idaho. Targets Joe Biden on border security at a campaign rally in Virginia. India's Council of Ministers brainstorms on vision document for Viksit Bharat 2047, a developed India in 2047, mull over detailed action plan for the next 5 years. And World Wildlife Day celebrated across the globe. UN Chief Antonio Guterres urges developed countries to invest in biodiversity and climate action in developing countries. First news from Pakistan. Shehbaz Sharif was elected as the Prime Minister of Pakistan again to lead a coalition government for a second time. 72-year-old Shehbaz, who was the consensus candidate of Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz (PMLN) party and the Pakistan People's Party, the PPP, received 201 votes, 32 more than what was required to become Leader of the House in the 336-member parliament. A report. Finally, Sunday saw progress in government formation in Pakistan. Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz (PMLN) President Shehbaz Sharif was elected as the 24th Prime Minister of Pakistan. PMLN, along with their coalition partner, the Pakistan People's Party (PPP), secured 201 votes in the National Assembly on Sunday. PTI-backed candidate Omar Ayub Khan secured 92 votes.
रिजल्ट अनाउंस करना चाह रहा हूं मियां मोहम्मद शहबाज शरीफ साहब has secured 201 votes.
Shehbaz Sharif, in his speech, recounted the achievements of his elder brother Nawaz Sharif during his tenure as Prime Minister.
God willing, we will make Pakistan a great country and move forward with our heads raised with pride.
Sunday's session of the new parliament saw ruckus and sloganeering, with the PTI-backed lawmakers accusing the government that the February 8th election was rigged. Khan's lawmakers won the most number of seats on February 8th, despite a sweeping crackdown against his Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf PTI party that forced its candidates to run as independents and being debarred from holding rallies. The unusually delayed results also triggered accusations that the vote was rigged. The new government will have to immediately start talks with the IMF as the current IMF agreement expires in April. Sharif and his party will also have to deal with growing discontent over deepening poverty in the South Asian nation. Tanvi Taneja for DD India. And our correspondent Jessica Taneja joins us from New Delhi for more on the story now. Jessica, considering Pakistan's political history, will this coalition prove to give Pakistan the stability which it needs?
Well, if you'd recall, Tanvi, this is the same caretaker government that ousted former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan, who was in power in 2022 with the backing of the military. Certainly a lot of difficult tasks ahead for this coalition government. Now, if you'd recall, they didn't receive the kind of mandate from the February 8th election that was held in Pakistan recently. The reason being they couldn't garner the kind of support that the independents backed by Imran Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf did, which sprung a surprise victory in pockets that was not expected, especially in the province of Punjab, which is not their stronghold, world, which apparently is the base of PMLN, that is Shehbaz Sharif, who has been the chief minister from there. But moving forward, the task ahead for this government will be difficult. And as you read out in that report, with the kind of decent presence or majority that the opposition would now have under Omar Ayub Khan, who is leading the charge for PTI in the National Assembly as the leader of opposition. Moving on, Shehbaz Sharif and his coalition government, along with a few parties also, few members also joining in, giving him that majority of 201, will have to ensure that there is some form of unity in bargaining for future bailout packages for Pakistan, which it is in desperate need of. At this point, the country needs to stave off an economic crisis, and that will be the priority of this government. And how it plans to do, well, it's subject to consideration and a lot of speculation at this point.
And Jessica, why do you think Nawaz Sharif has stepped aside for his younger brother here?
Well, when Nawaz Sharif came back from the forced exile that he was in London after he was ousted in 2018, remember during the election where the military's then blue-eyed boy Imran Khan was introduced to the political spectrum of Pakistan, has now been put behind bars. So, of course, Pakistan's, Prime Minister office is a revolving door, as we all know, because it is directly, if not indirectly now, is controlled by the military. And the current coalition government also seems to be the one that is under the influence of the military. So moving on, the task ahead would certainly be difficult. And the reason Nawaz Sharif has not taken charge is also partly due to the fact that they didn't secure the kind of victory they had imagined in this election or perhaps anticipated. Now, if you see the numbers, PMLN only received 77 seats from the 266 seats that were out for polls, while the Pakistan's People Party, the other coalition partner, received a meager 55. So that didn't give him the kind of majority and that power to return back perhaps as the Prime Minister. And of course, at this time where Shehbaz Sharif has been taking charge as the country's Prime Minister in the recent past as well, it was a decision which was unanimous to put him at the helm of affairs instead of Nawaz Sharif going ahead. But with that said, Shehbaz Sharif certainly does have the kind of experience right now required to put Pakistan back on the map again when it comes to stabilizing its economy and its political unity. He has been the chief minister 3 times from the province of Punjab, and if you know and if you read carefully into Pakistan elections, you'd know the government or the party that is able to win the province of Punjab, which holds the maximum number of seats in the National Assembly, is declared winner as well, because 58% of the seats are from the province of Punjab. So that holds certain significance, and Shehbaz Sharif has been the chief minister of that state for 3 times. So it was a choice that was made after quite a deliberation to put Shehbaz Sharif at the helm of affairs, while Nawaz would continue to offer his support to the party with his experience.
Indeed. You mentioned, Jessica, of the IMF bailout package. So what are the major political challenges that Shehbaz Sharif is likely to face, including possibly from his alliance partners?
Well, if you see his alliance partners, of course, the PPP with Bilawal Bhutto at the helm of affairs, it wouldn't be so difficult, while there could be some difficulties with the opposition that is in charge at this point, because it does have a decent presence in the National Assembly. 91 seats, and if you count the SIC, that makes it more than 110. So, of course, that's a good number to oppose any kind of, I would not go ahead and say reform, but yes, the decisions that will be taken ahead of the budget session due to be held very soon, Tanvi, and that will be very crucial to watch out for. But at this point, to put this in context for our viewers, Pakistan's economy is in bad state. Imagine in 2023, which is is last year, Pakistan received foreign direct investments of only up to 1.7 billion, and India receives that in just about a week. So that is the difference we're looking at. And if India and Pakistan difference is too much, look at Pakistan and Bangladesh economies, right? The per capita income in Pakistan is more than 1,000 USD, whereas in Bangladesh it's more than 4,000 USD, and the life expectancy is 72 years in Bangladesh as compared to more than 45 years in Pakistan. So of course things have not been great, but Shehbaz Akhtar, who was the finance minister of Pakistan in the caretaker government previously, will be tasked with liquidating national assets. That could be something that could face a lot of opposition from the PTI-backed candidates. And apart from that as well, the $3 billion bailout package from the IMF expires next month itself, and the budget session is due. So a lot of calculations to be done, and let's not forget the important sectors like telecom is completely under foreign investments, including agriculture sector that needs a lot of focus. So of course we're looking at a lot of economic difficulties for Pakistan, which in fact even saw floods which destroyed up to $30 billion worth of assets and properties in Pakistan just 2 years ago. So it hasn't still recovered, not just from climate effect, but also the political turmoil in the country that has led to such economic backlash. With Pakistan rupee still tumbling, we're not expecting anything. And just to point out a last fact, last year Pakistan had put out a bid for oil and gas exploration. Not even one bid was received. So that is the kind of economic turmoil that Pakistan is in, and it certainly would take a lot to pull it out of that crisis, Tanvi.
Yeah, tough tasks ahead for Shehbaz Sharif. We leave it here. Thank you very much, Jessica Taneja, for joining us on this story. Meanwhile, Pakistan's former president Asif Ali Zardari and his rival Pashtun politician Mahmood Khan Achakzai on Saturday filed their nominations for the presidential election that will be held in the country on March the 9th. Asif Zardari from Sindh province is the co-chairman of the Pakistan People's Party and has the support of Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz. The new president will replace Dr. Arif Alvi, who completed a 5-year term last year. But in the absence of the electoral college required to elect the president, Alvi is still in office. 3 more Pakistani citizens submitted their nomination papers for the post of president as independent candidates. The scrutiny of the nomination papers will be conducted on Monday. On to India now. India's Council of Ministers brainstormed on the vision document for Viksit Bharat 2047, that is, Developed India 2047, and its detailed action plan for the next 5 years. According to sources attributable to the Government of India, a 100-day agenda for immediate steps also was worked upon for quick implementation after the formation of the new government in May this year. The roadmap for Viksit Bharat or Developed India is a result of more than 2 years of intensive preparation. It involved a whole-of-government approach involving all ministers and wide-ranging consultations with state governments, academia, industry bodies, civil society, scientific organizations, and mobilization of youth for seeking their ideas, suggestions, and inputs. More than 2,700 meetings, workshops, and seminars were held at various levels. Even suggestions of over 20 lakh youth were received. The roadmap for Viksit Bharat has a comprehensive blueprint with clearly articulated national vision points, aspirations, goals, and agenda. Its goals include areas such as economic growth, sustainable development goals, ease of living index, ease of doing business index, infrastructure, social welfare, and so on. You're with us on DD India News Hour, still to come in the bulletin. Donald Trump wins Michigan, Missouri, Idaho caucuses in a dominant show of force in the United States. Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico says his foreign ministers' meeting with Russia's Sergei Lavrov is an example of balanced foreign policy. And ahead of pre-election budget in the UK, British Finance Minister Jeremy Hunt says there had been a worsening in the economic outlook, adds forecasts that underpin the budget have gone against us. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I am Tanvi Taneja. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi begins his 5-state visit of South India from Monday. He will launch development projects worth around $12.8 billion. The major focus of the projects will be in the power sector. Prime Minister Modi will visit Bhavini, the Bharatiya Nabhikya Vidyut Nigam Limited in Tamil Nadu. Bhavini has developed the nation's first indigenous fast breeder reactor in Kalpakkam in Tamil Nadu. DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya reports.
In a significant stride towards energy independence and sustainability, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to witness a historic event, the initiation of coal loading at the nation's first indigenous fast breather reactor in Kalpakkam in Tamil Nadu. Developed by Bhavini, the Bharatiya Navikya Vidyut Nigam Limited, this prototype fast breather reactor or PFBR marks a remarkable step forward in India's nuclear power program. What sets this reactor apart is its unique capability to produce more fuel than it consumes. This groundbreaking feature paves the way for self-reliance in fuel supply for future fast reactors, aligning perfectly with India's 3-stage nuclear power program, which emphasizes a closed fuel cycle. But it's not just about energy production, it's about doing so responsibly. With minimized nuclear waste and advanced safety features, prototype fast breather reactors offer a safe, efficient and clean source of energy. They are not just power generators, they are contributors to the goal of achieving net zero emissions. Later in the day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address a public meeting in Chennai, underscoring the importance of this milestone in India's energy journey. This event symbolizes India's commitment to a sustainable and secure energy future.
This milestone at the Kalpakkam fast breeder reactor signifies India's commitment to nuclear power advancement with the potential to lead in thorium utilization and achieve self-sufficiency in fuel supply. It also underlines India's strides towards clean and efficient energy production, bolstering its position in the global nuclear landscape. With camera person Jai Shankar, this is Tapas Bhattacharya for DD India from Kalpakkam in Tamil Nadu.
And Tapas Bhattacharya now joins us from Chennai in Tamil Nadu. Tapas, briefly, how has nuclear power, once considered so very dangerous by many nations, become a very accepted source of clean energy the world over?
Well, when you're talking about the source of it was considered dangerous. It was considered dangerous in the 70s, 80s, to an extent in the 90s. But since then, the technology has advanced rapidly. In fact, the generation third in technology that is currently being used in this particular fast breeder reactor is considered one of the most safest in not just in the country but also in the world. And at the same time, you mentioned the fact that it is now considered clean. Let's just put it this way: have you ever heard about energy source which, while you are burning it, you actually double the energy, or you actually increase the energy consumption? Well, it doesn't happen, but in this case, it is actually happening. This is the second stage of nuclear reactor. Fast breeder reactors are considered second stage reactors. What the fuel that is used, it's used from the first generation of nuclear reactor, which is the refuel usage of the fuel that is already there. So the reuse of the particular fuel of the first part of the nuclear reactor is being used in the second in this particular fast breeder reactors, and it actually increases the fuel consumption. So the kind of fuel that you require further, you actually burn, but you at the same time you increase the fuel consumption at the same time. So in a way, it is quite strange, and it's one of the technological high that Indian scientists have developed. Probably it's the second time commercially they have done this from the prototype to commercial viability, and after I think Russia, India is the second country to have mastered this technique. And the third part, it is important to note that this is just the second part. The third part is to increase it to make it thorium-based nuclear reactor. Now, thorium is a component that is quite heavily available in India. In fact, it is 40% of world's thorium is available in the country. So the idea of Homi Bhabha was to create a nuclear fissile material based on thorium, and we are on course to achieve that particular dream. Tanvi.
And Tapas, how important is nuclear power in India's overall energy scenario currently, and how far is its importance likely to grow in the foreseeable future?
Well, quite a valid point. Just to put it into perspective, you're talking about this. Nuclear power is considered the fifth most used power source in the country, and India, as you all know, that is going towards net zero consumption, net zero neutrality by 2070, and nuclear energy is considered one of the most secure means to achieve that. The first, as I mentioned, you already mentioned the fact that here is a technology where you can use a particular fuel, a reprocessed fuel already that is being used, and then again get more fuel out of that. So that is one part of it. And as I mentioned, if you use thorium based, and if you if you have a reserve of thorium, which is, as I mentioned, more than 40% of world's thorium is available in the country, and if you use that, you will have more than 600 to 700 years of free electricity that can be done. And again, this is a technology that a lot of countries were working to get for, but in India is, as I mentioned, is the second country to achieve a milestone in that regard, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be witnessing history tomorrow as it moved towards a second stage of consumption of this particular fast breeder reactor, a commercial fast breeder reactor in the country.
Thank you, Tapas, for those updates. On to the United States now. In a dominant show of force, Republican frontrunner and former President Donald Trump beat his counterpart Nikki Haley in Michigan, Missouri and Idaho caucuses. While Trump and Haley collided in North Carolina ahead of a contest next week, they will face off in a key contest in Washington, D.C. on Sunday. Trump, who has not yet lost any primary, is looking to continue his winning streak in D.C.'s primary. A report.
Former US President and Republican frontrunner Donald Trump moves closer ahead for GOP nomination after beating Nikki Haley in Michigan caucuses. In Michigan, Trump beat Haley in all 13 districts, taking part in the nominating caucuses. Overall, Trump won with nearly 98% support. Trump also won the Missouri and Idaho Republican caucuses on Saturday.
We have to come together, and I'm hoping today is the start of that. We'll see. But we have to come together and support our candidate.
On the other hand, Trump and Haley collided in North Carolina ahead of a contest next week. Trump drew a large crowd for his rally on Saturday at a Coliseum in Greensboro and made it clear that Haley is not a threat, while Haley vowed to stay in the race.
Get everyone you know to the polls so we can trounce Haley. I haven't heard about her in about a week. Has anybody know? She was going around every show, Donald Trump, this and that. That wasn't working too well. No, we don't care about that. You have to get out the vote because we have to send big numbers up for November 5th.
On Sunday, Donald Trump and Nikki Haley will face off in Washington, D.C. During the last competitive Republican nominating contest in D.C. in 2016, Trump received less than 14% of the vote and no delegates.
On to the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Turkey has expressed hope for a ceasefire in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan said this on Sunday at the end of a diplomatic forum in the southern Turkish city of Antalya. The forum also saw a rare high-level encounter between a European Union member state and Russia. Slovakia's Foreign Minister Huray Blanar held talks with Russian counterpart, a move widely criticized by Slovak opposition. DD India's Faiz Khan reports.
The two-year-long conflict between Russia and Ukraine may see a glimmer of hope for resolution, with Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan stating that discussions for a ceasefire in Ukraine are set to commence soon. The Turkish foreign minister made these remarks at Antalya Diplomacy Forum. The Russian foreign minister Sergei Lavrov too visited Turkey for Antalya Diplomacy Forum. He also held talks with other European leaders. A senior member of Slovakia's government met his Russian counterpart on Saturday.
We don't hide that we certainly prefer to do business with countries who, like Slovakia now, like Hungary, some others who put priority to the national interest as the elected government perceives those interests.
It was a rare high-level encounter between a European Union member state and Russia. It was criticized by the opposition. However, Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico said the meeting was an example of Slovakia's balanced foreign policy.
I fully support this balance. I knew about this meeting and recommended the minister to meet the Russian minister, even though I can already see the screaming characters in the opposition and liberal media.
Despite peace efforts, situation on ground remained volatile. Russia launched fresh missile strikes at school and apartment in the East Ukrainian towns of Mirnohrad and Pokrovsk on Sunday, in which 6 people were injured. On Saturday, a Russian drone crashed into a residential building in Odessa, destroyed several apartments and led to the death of 10 people. Faiz Khan's report for DD India.
Next news from Europe. British Finance Minister Jeremy Hunt sought to dampen speculation about big pre-election tax cuts in this week's budget, saying there had been a worsening in the economic outlook, but he did hint at some help for voters. Hunt told a UK newspaper that the forecasts that underpin the budget have gone against us, quote unquote. Referring to last November's fiscal update, Hunt said that again, I quote him, "We don't have as much of a positive outlook as we had at the end of the autumn statement." He said there was a long path ahead to bring down Britain's highest tax burden since the Second World War.
But he warned the economy would still contract in 2020.
And next we take a look at other stories making news around the world. The Moroccan government and UNESCO announced a new project to improve methods for predicting and preventing earthquake risks. The project comes after the devastating 2023 Marrakesh Safi earthquake that struck the Al Haouz province. Police have made 2 arrests in Berlin during their search for individuals wanted for their suspected involvement in Germany's notorious Red Army faction militant group. According to Berlin police, around 130 officers were on the ground in their search for suspects. A South Korean zoo threw a farewell party for Fu Bao, the first giant panda born in the country, ahead of the beloved animal's scheduled return to China. Fu Bao, which means lucky treasure, has attracted a huge fan base ever since she was born in July 2020 at the Evolent Amusement Park just south of Seoul. You're watching DD India News Hour, still to come in the bulletin. Will government formation in Pakistan put an end to political instability in the country, or will Pakistan follow its past traditions? A discussion with our guest, TCA Raghavan. And intense blizzards blanket California's Sierra Nevada, with more snowfall forecast to fall over the weekend. All this and more on the other side.
Wherever news breaks, whatever it takes.
Connecting corners, cutting across continents.
Stories that matter from across the globe.
Accurate, authentic journalism that serves you right. From politics to glamour, from sports to world affairs, with a fusion of aesthetics and substance. Introducing news in a new avatar. Experience the world through a new lens. Stay tuned to DD India for an exciting journey beyond borders.
India that invents. India that innovates. India that excites. India that invites. Land of possibility. Teeming with opportunities. Watch India Ideas each Thursday 8 p.m. only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I am Tanvi Taneja. A quick reminder of the headlines we are tracking at this hour. Pakistan's newly formed parliament elects Shehbaz Sharif as the Prime Minister for a second time. Shehbaz beats PTI-backed candidate Omar Ayub comfortably. Israeli military review of Gaza aid convoy deaths finds that most were killed in Stampede, adding no strike was carried out towards the aid convoy. India's Council of Ministers brainstorms on the vision document for Viksit Bharat 2047, that is Developed India 2047, mull over detailed action plan for the next 5 years. Our top story we're tracking at this hour, Shehbaz Sharif has been elected as the Prime Minister of Pakistan with broad coalition support, but as we know, Pakistan has a history of political turmoil. The country, whose economy is in dire straits with inflation at 38%, the highest since 1957, has experienced several political upheaval and economic crises in the past. Since 1947, no Prime Minister in Pakistan has completed a full 5-year term. In 1958, the Pakistani military launched its first coup, and this coup centralized power in the country over the next 13 years. On 18 occasions, Pakistan Prime Ministers have been removed under a variety of circumstances, including direct military coups or forced resignations. The year 1993 was particularly fraught with 5 changes in the Prime Ministership. Interestingly, the shortest tenure for a Pakistan Prime Minister was 2 weeks. This was in 1957. Nawaz Sharif was elected Prime Minister of the country 3 times, in 1990, in 1997 and 2013, the most for a single candidate. Previous Prime Ministers, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, Benazir Bhutto and Nawaz Sharif, among others, were overthrown by a military coup, directly or indirectly. And we will be joined shortly by our guest to discuss Pakistan's polity more in some time from now. Moving on, for now, a days-long blizzard in the US's Sierra Nevada has caused a feet of snow and gusts of wind reaching 190 miles per hour, disrupting daily life in California. The weather is predicted to last for several more days. Not just the blizzard, the US state of Texas also saw its largest ever winter wildfire, scorching over 1 million acres in the city. More in this report.
This is how the road ahead looks so snowy for truckers in California, after a blizzard of heavy snow forced a stretch of Interstate 80 to close in Nevada County. The snowstorm has closed major roads, shut down ski resorts, and left tens of thousands of homes without power. This has been especially severe in the mountainous Sierra Nevada region, where wind gusts reportedly reached 305 kilometers per hour. With the heaviest snow expected till Sunday, people have been warned of a high to extreme avalanche danger there. On the other hand, Texas gives a contrasting picture. Wildfires in Texas claim the lives of animals. Firefighters continue to battle flames in a wooded area to save cattle. According to the Texas Forest Service, the spot fire is part of the massive Smokehouse Creek fire, which has caused more than 1 million acres since it erupted on Monday and left at least 2 people dead.
All right, so what we're calling this is an animal supply point. So we're here in Pampa at a fairgrounds, and we're assisting local farmers and ranchers that are in need of either hay commodities and or feed commodities. Basically, it's a donation management location that we're here to help assist in managing.
While firefighters gained a measure of control over the blaze, the danger had not passed, with officials monitoring high winds that could reignite and spread smoldering embers across the land. Ravindra Chauhan's report for DD India.
Sharif is elected the Prime Minister of Pakistan today. Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz, PMLN, and the Pakistan People's Party, PPP, received 201 votes, and PTI-backed candidate Omar Ayub got 92. So to understand Pakistan's politics better, we are now joined by TCA Raghavan. He is former Indian High Commissioner to Pakistan. Welcome, sir, to Newshour. Shehbaz Sharif has been elected Pakistan's Prime Minister for a second time. So what are the political skills that he brings to his obviously very difficult second term in your view?
Well, he is, first of all, he has a great deal of administrative experience because he has been Chief Minister of Punjab, which is Pakistan's largest province. Secondly, he has a strong position within the ruling party because he is the brother of former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif. And because former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif chose not to become Prime Minister this time, he is becoming Prime Minister the second time around after the premature termination of the tenure of former Prime Minister Imran Khan. So yes, he has certain administrative and political experience which will come in handy to him. He's also regarded as having good relations with Pakistan's military establishment.
I was about to ask you this. What role is the military establishment going to play in Shehbaz Sharif's continuance as Prime Minister of Pakistan, and how adequately do you see him handling this relationship with the military's top brass?
Well, I don't think the problem is going to be his relationship with the military top brass. The problem is that the present architecture of which he is going to be the head has largely been assembled by the military establishment. And the real challenge and question mark which he will face is the question of its credibility and of the mandate it has, because there are many question marks about the electoral process by which this coalition came to power. There are even bigger question marks about the extent to which state machinery was used against Imran Khan and his party. And all of that has damaged the credibility, not just of the current ruling coalition, which is the PMLN and the PPP, but also has dented the image of the Pakistan military. So those are the real challenges he is going to face, that how firm and how strong will this coalition government be? Because as your report said, Pakistan, the range of problems and the portfolio of problems which it faces are very formidable, beginning with the economy, but there are other problems, including a very serious national security problem in the form of terrorism and an inability to enforce the writ of the state in many parts of Pakistan.
So, yes, after being elected, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif today promised to deal with the country's economic woes, and one major challenge, as you mentioned, is the external debt situation. How worrisome is that? What is the way out? How do you see it?
Well, the most intractable issue is the new government will face is the economy, and there are no easy solutions. You see, they have had to return to the IMF for a bridging program, for an external stabilization program, because they face a huge magnitude of debt repayments, which has in the past led to tremendous pressure on the Pakistan rupee, and as your report said, spiraling inflation. The real problem is structural. Pakistan, first of all, spends much more than it earns as revenue. Secondly, its imports are far in excess of its exports. And most of all, it lacks a conducive domestic atmosphere in which industry and the economy can grow.
Okay, Mr. Raghavan, how do you see the prospects of Omar Ayub? Is he a force to reckon with in the absence of Imran Khan being jailed?
Well, he is a front for Imran Khan. He himself is not a force to reckon with, although he comes from a prominent family of Pakistan. But he is a front for Imran Khan. And what these elections have demonstrated, that Imran Khan certainly has an independent political position and an independent political status in Pakistan. The fact that so many of his candidates, of his party members, could win as independent candidates, notwithstanding the numerous pressures and the different allegations of rigging which are there, really suggests that the earlier reports that Imran Khan had a certain charismatic appeal, those reports are not exaggerated. So the political problem represented by Imran Khan is a major one for the new coalition. How long can a government keep a major popular leader in jail? Certainly, the fact that they have almost 100 members in the National Assembly means that this will also be under Omar a very vocal and articulate opposition, which will add to the government's day-to-day problems.
Sir, tell us, where does all this leave Imran Khan and his party at this juncture? How do you see Imran Khan's political future ahead?
Well, he himself is in jail. Many of his party members are still in jail. But he has demonstrated that he has a large measure of popular and public support. So I think with that, certainly his mindset will be that he is riding a wave. He is on a high. And while temporarily it may appear that the stakes are weighted against him, I would think that he would assume that as time progresses and as the economic issues continue to weigh on popular consciousness, his chances of making a comeback will increase.
So how stable, sir, do you expect Shehbaz Sharif's second term as Prime Minister to be?
Well, as I said, this new architecture will certainly have the support of the Pakistan military establishment. And that is always a factor in the stability of a government. But at the same time, there are problems within the coalition, and the bigger issue is of the question of credibility and of the mandate, and to what extent the coalition will be able to face up to that domestic credibility issue will really be a major issue. The general expectation in Pakistan, and there's nothing fixed about this, but the general expectation is that this government is going to be a shaky coalition and it's not going to have a very bright future, even in the medium term.
We leave it here. Thank you very much, Mr. Raghavan, for joining us in the bulletin. We appreciate you joining us. All right. India's Minister for Minority Affairs and Women and Child Development, Smriti Irani, on Sunday launched Hajj Guide and Hajj Suvidha app for the convenience of Hajj pilgrims in the Training of Trainers program organized by the Ministry of Minority Affairs at Vigyan Bhavan in New Delhi today. Addressing the program, Smriti Irani said that the Narendra Modi government has taken several steps in coordination with various ministries to provide better facilities to the Hajj pilgrims.
नरेंद्र मोदी सरकार ने हर विभाग के समन्वय से हाजियों की सुविधा को और भी सुदृढ़ करने के लिए और भी मजबूत करने के लिए मिलकर समन्वय के माध्यम से कोऑर्डिनेटेड एफर्ट में कुछ कदम उठाए हैं। सऊदी अरब में आज एक दृष्टिकोण है, वो इस बात से संभवतः समझ में आता है कि पिछले साल जो महिला हाजी गई बिना महरम के, उनकी संख्या लगभग 4,300 की रही है और इस साल उनकी संख्या बढ़कर 5,160 के भी ऊपर चली गई है।
Still to come on DD India News Hour. On World Wildlife Day, UN Chief Antonio Guterres urges countries to take urgent action to drastically reduce emissions adapt to climate extremes, and prevent pollution. And Aussie Nathan Lyon spins Australia to victory in the first test against New Zealand. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I am Tanvi Taneja. A collection of research papers by Islamic scholars was launched in New Delhi on Sunday. Launching the book in 3 different languages, eminent Indian author and journalist M.J. Akbar accused Islamic extremism for raising a false narrative against India and termed it anti-Islamic. DD India's Vishal Baristo spoke to M.J. Akbar. Listen in.
Is it an international conspiracy or a false narrative? What is the reality of Ghazwa-e-Hind? And I have with me the eminent journalist and also a politician, Mr. M.J. Akbar. Sir, what is the reality?
The reality is that this is a complete falsehood, right? This is a very major and I think even mischievous untruth, which has absolutely no basis in doctrine, no basis in text. It is not mentioned in the sacrosanct book of Muslims is the Holy Quran. There is no mention of this in the Quran. The hadith that is attributed as the origin is extremely doubtful, and all scholars know that there are 3 categories of hadith. Right? One which has been authenticated by at least 6 people who can prove that they had heard it, right, with 5 witnesses. So it's a very rigorous kind of process. Then there is a kind of median, and then there is a third form which is considered to be almost virtually. And this particular source is 300 years after. Anyway, it doesn't stand up. It doesn't stand up to the message of the Quran. It doesn't stand up to the experience. And it is an absurdity which has been concocted for heaven knows which purpose.
So there you heard Mr. Akbar. He says that it is total mischief on part of those who are totally against the country. But as far as Islam is concerned, it is only teaching peaceful coexistence. With cameraman Mohit Uike in Delhi, this is Vishal Baristo for DD India.
In a world where our planet's wildlife faces unprecedented challenges, the need for innovation and conservation has never been more critical. This year, on World Wildlife Day, the United Nations embarked on a journey of exploration and discovery, uniting people and planet through power of digital innovation. DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya has more.
इस वर्ष वर्ल्ड वाइल्ड लाइफ डे की थीम में डिजिटल इनोवेशन को सर्वोपरि रखा गया है। आपको ये जानकर खुशी होगी कि हमारे देश के अलग-अलग हिस्सों में वन्य जीवों के संरक्षण के लिए टेक्नोलॉजी का खूब उपयोग हो रहा है।
On 3rd of March every year, the world comes together to celebrate World Wildlife Day, an initiative by the United Nations to shine a spotlight on the incredible diversity of life on our planet. This day serves as a reminder of the intricate connection between humanity and the natural world, urging us to take action to protect our precious wildlife and their habitat. Under the theme of connecting people and planet, exploring digital innovation in wildlife conservation, this year's World Wildlife Day delves into the transformative potential of digital technologies in safeguarding our natural heritage. Advancements in technology from satellite tracking to DNA analysis are revolutionizing the wildlife conservation efforts, providing us with invaluable insights into the lives of endangered species and their ecosystem. Satellite monitor wildlife movements while data aids in understanding migration patterns and land use, bolstering conservation initiatives. World Wildlife Day emphasizes the importance of collective action. It calls upon countries, companies, and individuals to work together towards a just and sustainable future for all living beings. As we celebrate World Wildlife Day 2024, let's harness the potential of digital innovation to preserve our planet's biodiversity for generations to come. Let's make a difference. With camera person Vinod, this is Taposh Bhattacharya for DD India from Delhi.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi shared his greetings on social media platform X on World Wildlife Day. PM Modi said March 3rd is the day to celebrate the incredible diversity of life on our planet. And UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, in his message on World Wildlife Day, urged countries to take urgent action to drastically reduce emissions. The UN chief said that pollution, climate chaos, habitat loss and exploitation of nature have pushed 1 million plant and animal species to the brink of extinction. He called it horrifying and said that it's a direct threat to the health and livelihoods of billions of people around the world, particularly the most vulnerable. Moving on, as the International Gita Mahotsav draws to its concluding day, devotees witnessed a Sadbhavana Yatra in the form of Perahera in Colombo. In Sri Lankan traditions, Peraheras are bright and colourful pageants or processions which include drum beaters, dancers and tuskers joining. It is the fifth such occasion when the International Gita Mahotsav is being organised outside India and the first time ever in Sri Lanka. A copy of Srimad Bhagavad Gita will be presented to the Sri Lankan Parliament tomorrow. On to India's northeast now. Manipur Governor Anusuya UK inaugurated the Northeast India Film Festival 2024 at Manipur State Film Development Society in Imphal. The Northeast India Film Festival is collaboratively organised with the sponsorship of the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting by the Directorate of Information and Public Relations, Manipur Film Forum Manipur, the Art and Culture Department and Manipur State Film Development Society and Tauna Manipur. While speaking at the inaugural session, the governor expressed optimism about the future of northeastern films and also highlighted the abundance of talent in the region that can compete on a global scale. The fifth edition of the joint military exercise Dharma Guardian between the Indian Army and the Japanese Ground Self-Defense Force is underway at the Mahajan Field firing ranges in Rajasthan. Scheduled from 25th of February to 9th of March this year, the exercise is an annual event alternately held in India and Japan. The aim is to foster military cooperation and enhance combined capabilities for joint operations in semi-urban environments under the 7th chapter of the United Nations Charter. The exercise emphasizes physical fitness, joint planning, tactical drills, and special arms skills. The Indian government recently released a fact sheet pertaining to the Household Consumption Expenditure Survey for the agricultural year 2022-23. As per the report, for the base year 2011-12, poverty lines for rural India was 789 rupees and for urban India was 967 rupees. While for the year 2022-23, poverty lines for rural India were at 1,452 rupees and for urban India were at 1,752 rupees. The poor percentage dropped to 2% in 2022-23 from 12.2% in 2011-12. You're watching DD India News. Our time now for some sporting action. In cricket, Australians beat New Zealand by 172 runs in the first test of the two-match series, taking a 1-0 lead against the Kiwis. Top performances for Cameron Green and Nathan Lyon propelled Australia to the victory. Cameron Green was declared man of the match. Chasing 396, New Zealand resumed at 111 for 3 on the fourth day in the second innings and collapsed in the face of superb spin bowling from Lyon to be all out for 196. The two teams will now face each other in the second test in Christchurch on Friday. India moved to the top of the World Test Championship points table following Australia's win over New Zealand in the Wellington Test. A points percentage of 64.58 took India to number 1 position in the table, followed by New Zealand, who have a point percentage of 60. Australia are in the third spot now and their points percentage stands at 59.09. They won the first test against New Zealand by 172 runs. According to the WTC World Test Championship points system, 12 points are awarded for a win, 6 for a tie and 4 for a draw. However, the teams are ranked according to percentage of points. The two teams that finish on the top will play the final in Lord's next year. So that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X, formerly Twitter and Instagram at DD India Live. We will be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from my entire team in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.